Lee, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, thank you.
What brings you to ESA 2016?
Well, we think it's the hot place to be. We think energy and energy storage are really the wave of the future. And my agency brought a delegation of 30 delegates from 8 different countries to see technology, especially US technology, and how it can be helpful in their particular countries focused on energy storage.
How receptive are they to the technology that they're seeing here?
They're very excited about what they're seeing here. It is interesting because different countries have different needs. I think one of the things that they're seeing right now, especially in emerging markets, is a need for renewables. With that comes a desire to also look at storage. So there's been a tremendous response from our delegates to what they're seeing and frankly also what they're hearing. Because I think that's the other important aspect, is that there's been a lot of sharing of information at this event that they've been very happy to be able to participate in.
Where are they in their development cycles or their initiation with picking up this technology and possibly even deploying it?
It's one of the great things about bringing a global delegation together. It's really across the spectrum. We have countries like Brazil and Colombia that are more advanced with respect to where they are. We also have countries that are on the delegation that are just beginning to experiment. But the great thing about having them here and having them together is that they can learn and they can exchange ideas. So it really is across the spectrum.
Do you have any steer on what sort of applications they're going to use energy storage for?
Well, I think it really does vary. I mean, there's clearly areas where they're talking about off-grid applications, and I think that, especially in developing and emerging markets, is a very important aspect. But actually, we're doing a project right now in India that is basically large-scale, where they're focused on storage. So it's, again, across the board.
And whose initiative is this?
This is an initiative by my agency, the U.S. Trade and Development Agency. And what we do is we focus on introducing our overseas partners with U.S. cutting-edge technology. So one, working together with the association, and we have to thank ESA for the work that they've done here. We brought the delegation not only here, but they're on a mission to go on a study tour to go across the United States to meet with U.S. businesses, to see technology in action, and to learn while they're here.
What are the next steps?
Well, I'd like to see the next steps to be implementation. I'm all about that. And it depends on it. You raised a very good point about what level are they at. Some are going to go back and focus on regulation. Some are going to go back and focus on installation. My goal all the way through is to get to implementation.
Are you involved across the piece, or do you just start the introduction and then leave them to it?
Our agency begins with the introduction. The other thing that we are able to do is to be able to provide funding for early project planning. So that also is a very important part of the next stage. Once they've made the introduction, is it going to work in their environment? We can help fund those studies. After that, we also work with many of our delegates to be able to move on to implementation, to financing in the future as well. So we stick with it, and frankly, I want to get all the way till I get to see it all implemented.
Do the US companies, do you find them as part of that journey, or do they approach you and you put them in touch with your delegation?
It's a real combination. One, we are very familiar with a lot of the US companies that have technology. At events like this, we're really delighted to have the opportunity to meet new companies as well, that our delegates, either these delegates or those in the future, can meet. So we basically work together, and it comes to us in many different ways.
What most excites you about this?
I think it's the fact that it's cutting edge and it's the future. I think it's really important. I think the climate change agreements that have been reached are essential, but we have to implement. We have to be able to reach those goals, and the only way we can reach those goals is with technology. And not just technology in the developed world, but technology in the emerging markets as well, because I actually think they have the opportunity to leapfrog over what's happening in the developed world.
Why is the government backing this?
It's a combination. Our mission is focused on economic development. We believe energy is an extremely important part of that. The other part of our mission is focused on U.S. exports of goods and services. This fits together perfectly.
What does the future hold?
I think the future holds sort of great things with respect to renewable energy, energy storage, and frankly in an environment that's going to be much better for our children than it is for us today.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.